Alright, so here we have the problem. Just had 7 minutes to solve it. Solve 2 cosine x equals sine of 2x for 0 is less than or equal to x and less than or equal to 3 pi. I know a lot of times we solve equations going 0 to 2 pi. Watch out for that. Okay, 0 to 3 pi. So 0 to 3 pi. So let's take a look at how we would solve this. So what strategy did you guys use?
I use
Cosine of 2x cosine x cosine x.
Very good. So we have 2 cosine x equals 2 sine x cosine x. Alright, so here we're using that double angle formula. They like that one, okay? So now what did we do?
Now you can
Cosine.
cancel out the cosines and 2's.
You can divide by
Can't you?
cosine and use it.
Okay, here's the thing. We can cancel out the 2's.
And then
what we can't.
You can't cancel out the cosines. It's kind of like if you had x equals x squared. If you divide by x, you're going to lose answers, right? So we don't want to divide by cosine, but you're right that we have a cosine in common. So what could we do?
Move it to the other side.
Move it to the other side and factor. Yeah. So 0 equals sine x cosine x minus cosine x. So 0 equals cosine x times sine x minus 1. Okay?
maybe it's
I don't get
maybe
that.
different.
We took the common factor of cosine out.
Oh, okay.
Alright? Now, this is just like when you're solving a polynomial. Once you factored it, either cosine equals 0 or sine equals what?
1.
1. Because that would make this whole thing 0.
Oh, I was right. I got one of them.
Okay? So now you have to think, where does cosine equal 0? Think about your unit circle.
Pi over 2 or 3 pi over 2.
Okay?
Yeah.
Pi over 2 or 3 pi over 2. And is that everything from 0? That's everything from 0 to 2 pi. Is that everything from 0 to 3 pi?
No, no. So you get would it be like
7.
What? 7 pi over 2 would actually be 3.5 pi, which would be too far. But you're on the right track.
5 pi over
There we go, 5 pi over 2, okay? Think about coterminal angles. Okay, if we add 2 pi to pi over 2, we're at 5 pi over 2, that's still less than 3 pi. Now it's good to check, if we add 2 pi to 3 pi over 2, now we're up to 7 pi over 2, but now we've gone too far, so we don't want that one. Okay? Alright, so now sine of x equals 1. Where does sine equal 1?
pi, pi over 2.
At pi over 2. Now, not at 3 pi over 2, because that's where it's
Yeah.
negative 1. But then pi over 2 or 5 pi over 2 again. So, our solution is those 3 angles. Okay? Both of those are in here, so we don't have to list them twice. Okay?
Would it mean that there is a double root as like those 2 angles?
Yeah, you could think of it as a double root, sure. It's not a polynomial, so they don't behave exactly the same way, but yeah, same idea. Now my idea probably for the mark scheme, you're probably going to see like one method point for using the double angle formula, for trying to, and maybe an accuracy point for doing it correctly. And then probably a method point for factoring, getting it equal to 0 and factoring. Again, an accuracy point for doing that correctly. Let's see, that's 4, and then probably an accuracy point for each one of your solutions. Okay, I mean that's my guess. I don't have the mark scheme in front of me, but it's probably what you would see. Okay? All right, any questions on this one? All right, let's try another one. Okay? Here we have, this one's a little bit small, but I think you can see it decently. This one is only 2 marks. Now when you see this much writing and it's only worth 2 marks, don't overthink, okay? The following diagram represents a large Ferris wheel with a diameter of 100 meters. Let P be a point on the wheel. The wheel starts with P at the lowest point at ground level. The wheel rotates at a constant rate in an anti-clockwise, counterclockwise direction. 1 revolution takes 20 minutes. Okay? Write down the height of P above ground after 10 minutes and after 15 minutes. Okay. 2 marks, 2 minutes if you need it.
A revolution is 1 circumference, right?
Yes. 1 revolution is 1 time all the way around.
Do you have to show work? Or you just,
well,
Write down, so you don't.
okay, good. It says write down. Anytime you see write down, you don't have to show work. If they say find, they're expecting some work. That's those command terms. Or show that, yeah. Then they're expecting even more work. I would show like every little step if they say show that. Okay, do we need another minute or do we have it?
We have it.
Okay. So how high are we after 10 minutes? Okay, 100 meters. Here, you're using trig concepts without actually having to do any trig. I mean, if you wanted, you could model this as a negative cosine. It'd be a negative 50 cosine of 2 pi over, B is 2 pi over the period. The period's 20 minutes of 2 pi over 20 x. All right, if you really wanted.
I took the 100 and I put it vertical.
Yeah, or you could just think,
No cosines involved.
if it takes 20 minutes to get all the way around, then after 10 minutes we're going to be halfway around. So that's going to put us at the top. Good, 100 meters. 15 minutes means we're now 3/4 of the way. So how far up? 50. All right. This actually was on an exam. All right. So they throw you a bone once in a while with an easy one. Okay. Oh, that's dead. All right. So next one. This one is a continuation of the same problem. All right. So another part of the same problem here. Or a similar problem, sorry, not the same problem. Here we have a water wheel with a bucket. The wheel rotates at a constant rate in a counterclockwise direction. The diameter of the wheel is 8 meters. The center of the wheel, A, is 2 meters above the water level. After t seconds, the height of the bucket above the water level is given by H equals A sine of BT plus 2. Blow this up a little bit. Okay? Show that A equals 4. The wheel turns at a rate of 1 rotation every 30 seconds. Show that B equals, that's a pi over 15.
Wait, the one A is basically finding the radius, isn't it?
Well, show that A has to equal 4. Okay?
Isn't it just basically finding radius?
Well, that's what you gotta figure out. Okay?
Why does it say where it's cut off?
It's water.
What?
I know, but like,
The water level?
no, I mean, where it's cut off on the screen because you enlarged it.
Oh, it just says the height above the water level is given by H equals. Okay?
What does B stand for, the bucket?
No, B is part of the trig equation. So that part you should
Oh, okay.
be able to figure out with trig. Okay? They'll give you 4 minutes here. Alright, there's our time. Okay? Let's think about this one. This one actually you could finish really fast if you knew your formula real well for trig functions. Okay? What does A represent in relation to the trig function here?
Distance from the center.
Distance from the center. Good. Also known as
Radius?
radius on the circle. Also known as what for the actual trig, the sine curve?
Oh, cosine.
No,
Wait,
the,
no, wait.
the amplitude. The
Amplitude. There we go. This is our amplitude. Okay? Now, that amplitude is how high from the middle and how low from the middle it goes. So the amplitude is the radius. Okay? Now, we were told this was 2. But the amplitude is the radius. So if we're told that the diameter is 8 meters,
It's half of the
No,
diameter.
the 2 is just how far above it is. From the
Yeah, that is how high off the water it was.
doesn't affect
Okay.
the radius.
So the radius, if the diameter is 8, since this is a show one, I would show as much as possible. The diameter is 8 means that the radius is 4, and I would just say that A equals the radius, okay, which is the amplitude. You know, just to be safe here, I would give a little bit more information than I would probably do otherwise. Okay? It probably would not be enough to just write down 8 divided by 2 equals 4. Therefore, A equals 4. You need to give some kind of explanation or clarification. All right? See ya. Now, the second part, B, the number that's multiplied by your independent variable t here, B is related to what feature of the sine curve?
The intercept?
No.
No.
No. Remember our sine curve goes like this.
Is it
We had amplitude.
Magnitude.
frequency?
Frequency, yeah.
Okay, frequency is related to the period, right?
Oh, it's where it changes.
Okay, it's where it starts to repeat. Remember, it starts to repeat here.
Yes.
Okay, it's been a while.
Yeah.
Okay, but what is the normal period for 2 pi? What's the normal period for sine? It's 2 pi, alright? Okay, so the period is 2 pi. B is 2 pi divided by whatever the actual period of your model is. Okay?
So P 30.
So yeah, they're telling us that P is 30 seconds. So b has to equal 2 pi divided by 30. That's pi over 15.
Right, so you don't even have to plug it into the equations. right?
No.
Is
Yeah.
it just an equation we have to know?
What's that?
The equation for B? Like,
Yeah,
The
Like,
model
I
you
know
ought to
what
be
B
familiar with. Oh, this right here? Yeah, that's
like
something
when I saw
that
that equation, I just didn't like know what B.
yeah, I had no clue what
Yeah.
A meant, B
you
meant.
should be really familiar with your it's y equals a times the sine of bx minus c plus, well, d or k, either one.
Wouldn't you try to just solve
Okay.
it by putting 0 for y? Because you know, like, one
Yeah, that's what I
rotation
did.
on the
You'd get it.
first-
You'd get it to equal.
You could. Yeah, you could do it that way, and that's where you can get creative. Since you know a is 4, you could have plugged in,
No,
it's going to be,
well, I put 8 pi,
where's our midline here?
but midline 4.
At, if this is 0, we're up here at 2, right?
Yeah.
So after 30 seconds, we're going to be back up at 2. So I should subtract 2, get 0, divide by 4, get 0. Where is sine 0? 0 or 2 pi.
There we go.
There we go. So I either get 0 over 30, which is 0,
Or pi.
or 2 pi over 30, which is pi over 15. There we are. Okay. That's a little better. Does that make sense?
I think we're gonna need like a review of Trig.
Yeah.
Definitely gonna.
Yeah.
Are they?
So that's why we're doing this, so we
Yeah.
can kind of reveal issues, and then and that's what we'll use the mock exams for as well. We'll grade them together on Thursday and Friday. That'll kind of reveal highlight points that we need to hit on more, and then we can use our Mondays to kind of crash course in this topic, you know. So you can do it more than one way, but
What's the emphasis on IBSL? Like, do they emphasize on any part, or they do any part like trig and probability?
I mean, there's definitely, and I saw a thing, I'm actually gonna find it and give you more information on this on Monday, but I think there's probably the biggest emphasis is gonna end up being on trig and on probabilities. Okay? So, traditionally that has been, now there are certain patterns, like there's almost always, on the no calculator part, there's one related to a binomial expansion, and the power is at least like 6 or 7. So it's not like, so you're gonna have to know your combination, thing. But we're gonna go over, I found a thing there, I'm gonna go through that and share that with you on Monday. Okay. All right. Let's see how we're doing. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. 7 minutes. Let me find. That one's not gonna work. Here, let's do this one. Okay. So. 2 marks each. So we got 4 minutes here. This is find f of pi over 2. And this is g composed with f of pi over 2. Okay? F of x is cosine of 2x. G of x is 2x squared minus 1. Okay, so here, f of pi over 2, what are you doing here?
Plugging in pi over 2.
Yeah, you're just substituting the pi over 2. So cosine of 2 times pi over 2 is cosine of pi, which equals what? Very good, -1. Okay? Cosine of pi is -1. So, then you have this, the notation you gotta make sure you know. G composed of f of pi over 2. You could also write this as g of f of pi over 2. So how do we do that?
You plug in, so you plug
Plug
in
in what
for
you got
x,
for
you put f of x.
Yeah. You plug in what you just got here. This is f of pi over 2. So really they're just asking us to find g of -1. And that equals,
1.
yeah, 2 times 1 minus 1.
Oh gosh, I took a longer way. I
Well, as long as you got there, that's what's important.
Nah.
So,
I made a mistake because I wasn't sure if I had to do cosine of pi over 2 and then multiply it by 2, which is what I did, so I got -2 instead of -1.
okay.
So I just got -1 times 2.
Well, here's the thing.
Now I
Showing that you're plugging in would probably be a method point. Getting the right value would probably be accuracy. As long as you did this correctly, you'd get all the follow-through marks. So you could still get 3 out of 4 if you messed up something like that.
So it's the algebra stuff.
Yeah. So that's why we're practicing. All right?
Alright.
All right. You guys have a great day,
Thank
great
you.
weekend. Let me know if I can help you with anything.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
All right. See ya. Wish I could. All right. There we go.